welcome. My name is Kaneaiakala. Welcome to Phoenix Rising Addiction Center. As I continue to discuss our next step, and we just finished shooting steps 1 and steps 2 in a series. So we're going to begin into step 3. So just to kind of recap, we've already gone over step 1, which is admitting that we're powerless over our thinking and our behaviors, and that our lives have become unmanageable. So we went over what that looks like, what that entails, what does surrender look like, what does the admission of complete defeat look like, that type of willingness that comes about when we surrender. So we finished discussing that, moving into step 2 in coming to believe that a power greater than myself can restore me to some level of sanity or manageability in my life, and defining what that power greater than myself is, or that being, or that consciousness, or that being present, and using all of the tools that are around us, like 12-step programs, going to meetings or support groups, getting into service, having a mentor or a sponsor, getting into some type of a study group, whether you're learning and studying the steps or traditions or concepts or the Bible or whatever it might be, but getting into something where we're feeding ourselves new information, and then getting into some prayer and meditation, and if you can, getting into some type of a therapy or seeing a therapist to continue digging and searching into some of our past experiences or traumas or whatever it might be, but creating that support system that we need in step 2. And then now we come to the step 3, where step 3 is we make a decision to turn my thinking and my behaviors over to that care of God that I've come to understand. So we're at this pivotal point in our journey in this life, or in this day and age of what we're going through right now with COVID and the pandemic and all the struggles that everybody's going through. So where are we in making that decision? Do I want to continue staying in the problem and continue the pain and suffering, or do I want to move into some solution that I discovered in steps 2? And so now I'm at a place of, where do I want to go? What decision am I going to make? Am I going to continue living in the pain and suffering that I've been going through the anxiety, through the depression, through addictions, through stress, just struggling with day-to-day things? What am I going to do? Have I felt enough pain and suffering? Have I put myself and my family or friends or anybody that I'm around through enough already? Am I willing to surrender? Am I willing to try something new? Am I willing to make a decision to believe that there is something that can help me, or there are things, resources that are available to me that can help me get out of that insanity, So we go into the first paragraph here, where it says, practicing step 3 is like the opening of a door, which to all appearances is still closed and locked. All we need is a key and the decision to swing the door open. There is only one key, and it is called willingness. Once unlocked by willingness, the door opens almost of itself. And looking through it, we shall see a pathway beside which is an inscription. It reads, "This is the way to a faith or belief or a trust that works." In the first 2 steps, we're engaged in reflection, in looking at the unmanageability and the pain and suffering that we put ourselves through. We saw that we were powerless over whatever struggles that we were having. But we also perceived that faith of some kind if only in the resources or the things that we've discovered in step 2 itself is possible to anyone. That this solution or these solutions or these resources are available to anyone. These conclusions did not require action, they required only acceptance. So that key of willingness, just to open that door, to just try something new, try something else, going and seeing a counselor, going and seeing a spiritual, going and seeing your church, going and reaching out and grabbing as many of the resources that you can that are available to help me with a lot of the struggles that I'm having. So the first word that I read, practicing. So practicing, step 3, is like the opening of a door which to all appearances is still closed and locked. So the practicing of step 3, or making this decision to turn my thinking and my behaviors over to a power greater than myself, or a power that I've come to understand, or a resource that I've come to understand or start believing in, we have to continue practicing this. That this decision that I have to make about whether or not I want to stay in the unmanageability, or whether or not I want to go into is something that I have to continually practice, and it requires willingness. Willingness to do something different than what I've always done. A willingness to reach out and ask for help. A willingness to be able to sit down and have some uncomfortable discussions and about what's going on, with a professional, with somebody in a 12-step program, wherever it might be. But it requires that key of willingness. And that key of willingness is something that we should have gotten way back in step 1, when we surrendered. I know for me, when I finally had surrendered and admitted complete defeat, that I had this overwhelming willingness to just do whatever I needed to do. And that's what this is asking us. Now that we have a little bit more information from steps 1 and 2, now we're at a better, more informed place where now we can just take a look at what's going on and go, okay, what am I going to do? What am I going to throw myself into? What resources am I going to do? Am I going to continue doing it by myself? Or am I going to use all these tools that are at my fingertips? And that's what we're faced here. So this step of practicing, step 3, is like the opening of a door. And it might seem like it's closed, but just that process of willingness opens it up, And now we have to then step into it. And reach out and continually do this. This isn't something that we do once. This is something that we need to practice. This is something that we need to implement. This is something that we need to integrate into our life, into what we're trying to achieve, to be free from the pain and suffering that we continue to put ourselves and our families through, or people who are around us. Like, we're not just the pain and suffering of that unmanageable thinking doesn't just hurt us. Don't believe that lie that I'm only hurting me, because we don't just hurt ourselves. We hurt everything and everybody around us when we make that kind of selfish, self-centered type of decision. So when we finally surrender and we continue to practice this step of making that decision has to be made all the time, throughout the day, all day long. That decision to be willing, that decision to be present has to be done all the time. So I hope that this was helpful for you. This is the first paragraph of step 3, and it's asking for us to use the key of willingness. And I hope that you can find that desire and that willingness within you. And even if you have to use external cues or external reasons, whatever it is that's going to help you to continue moving forward, do that. Please continue to follow us on our YouTube channel, on all of our social media platforms, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, and on YouTube here at Phoenix Rising Addiction Center. And I hope that this is able to support you in whatever endeavors or whatever challenges that you might be having. And don't forget to call your sponsor. I hope you guys have a great day.